actually going to talk about the first time that she met my ex-wife.
Bruh.
You're going to be stuck in a car with her for the next 30 minutes.
Like big boss on campus, like big bad energy. Like she's like really like aggressive. And
What's good, JNT family? We're back again with another lit.
Today, as requested by y'all, we are doing an Indian food mukbang. It's vegetarian, so we have some paneer makhni.
It's like the butter chicken sauce that everybody eats, but it's with paneer, which is cheese. Then we've also got onion bhaji, which is basically like deep fried onions in like this really good batter. We're actually going to talk about the first time that she met my ex-wife.
What did he say?
The way it worked, obviously, like there was no reason for me to really meet her ex. There just was no real reason for me to. She didn't really have any interest at the time, which is like whatever. It's like her choice. There was just no reason. Like they don't hang out. It's not like they just get together when they have to talk about things or like when they're dropping the kids off back and forth. Yeah. And just by nature of like our lives, I work in a school, so I'm gone in the morning, so I'm just never really with her when they're transitioning, like dropping the kids on and off. So I had never met her. But you know, like it doesn't mean that like I wasn't intimidated at all about like the idea of meeting her, because it doesn't matter who the person is. Yeah. It's just like the nature of the situation, and I guess it's kind of complicated, and it can be kind of like it can just be intimidating and just like hard on both sides. I think it's hard for anyone to see their kids really love somebody, and I think it's hard it's just a weird dynamic kind of thing, right? Because I'm in a similar position to her. And
it's also hard for, the ex-spouse to see somebody coming in and like taking on another parental role.
And it's okay with that.
And it's just like hard, right? It's a hard all around. So
and you can have empathy about that, for sure. I've always had empathy about that.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a delicate situation, but let me tell you something. This situation that happened was very, very sprung on us.
Okay. So like, we ideally thought that when we actually decided to all get together and just like have a conversation, that it would be something that we thought about on our own.
Like a sit down dinner.
Yeah, that we would have like had time to think it out and be like mentally prepared for it and stuff. Because
why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't it be? Like we thought when it mattered and when we felt like doing it, we would just do it. Or maybe one day it would happen organically, but at least we would know what was going to happen. But let's tell this story.
Let's get into it.
It was in the summer of last summer. And we were going to a city for the day, and we were taking the kids to like a park, and we were gonna go have a picnic, like we were gonna go do some fun stuff, and it was a summer day, it was beautiful.
It was a really cool park, like it has like a zip line and like all this stuff.
We had gotten ready for the day, and we were leaving the house.
It was like early morning.
And we were on the highway getting out of town, and we were pulling off an exit to get off, just because we had to like, I don't know, I think change highways or something. We were just exiting off of the highway. Somebody behind us was texting and driving, and they weren't paying attention to their car. So there was traffic on the exit, so we were stopped, and we were just kind of like at the entrance of the exit, and the person behind us was going probably like 100 miles an hour and just flat on rear-ended us, all four of us in the car.
And we were all like stopped. But they were texting and driving, classic.
I had my coffee in my hand, and it was like iced coffee, but either way, it literally went like this. Like we got slammed so hard, the whole coffee showered over everyone. And thankfully, the kids were okay. But our car was not drivable, it was totaled. And we needed car seats for the kids, right? Because they're both so little.
Like we could have gotten a friend to come and pick us up, but the problem is that
car seats. You
they don't
can't
have car
use the car
seats. And
again.
whenever you get into an accident, the cops will cut the car seats on scene so that you can't use them again, because essentially they could malfunction in another accident when they're like actually needed to like work. So anytime you get into an accident with car seats, you have to buy all new car seats.
Yeah. So
we needed like wherever we were going, like we needed to get my ex to like bring car seats.
And we were also on the side of the road in the middle of a highway with two little kids. Like you can't just sit there forever, like waiting for somebody or calling somebody else and going and telling somebody who doesn't know anything about car seats to go and buy car seats for the kids. So the only thing we could think of was
we have to call her. We have to call her.
And it was awkward because we were like, oh, but like you've never met her before and we're calling her to do this and she's gonna come pick us up and drive us home. Like meanwhile, you've never met her. Like the whole situation's kind of really taboo because it's like they divorced and she had never met me and things were awkward and tense and weird.
And now we're just one big happy family driving like 30 minutes back to our town.
So she got there and she like, we didn't even really say hi, really. We didn't.
Well, to be fair, there was so much going on because we were still taking statements, like the cops were still taking statements from both of us.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. Obviously my ex was like super upset and just like wanted to make sure that the kids were okay because like they were the ones that were in the back. So like being rear-ended, like we needed to make sure that they were okay, and the firefighters had come and they were also like making sure the kids were okay and everything like that, which they were, and they never got any issues from it. But she was like also like just making sure. So like I don't think that there was like a conscious effort to like not acknowledge anything.
No, it wasn't like it wasn't intentional.
More like I'm just making sure that like the kids are good. Right? Basically because we had the collision was on the highway, they basically were like, okay, we're gonna like quickly check everybody out and make sure they're good, but then we're gonna tow you to like but then we're gonna tow you guys to the nearest gas station that's like the closest from that exit so that we can get like statements and all that stuff. So we were like, okay, cool. So then we had to awkwardly get into the car with me, you, the kids, and my ex-wife.
Wait, and one little tiny tidbit extra is that like, because her and I were like kind of freaking out, but we're like, oh my god, how is this gonna go? Like, she's picking us up, and we were talking about it, and we kind of just like, we're so discombobulated that we forgot that the cop was right there, and the cop was like, I don't know, like if one of you guys like needs to like ride in my car or something, like I don't know what you guys have going on. Because he had literally heard the whole thing.
Oh my god.
It's so cringy, so embarrassing. Like, I didn't even realize that, but we were so, like, the whole thing was a mess.
It was so bad.
I was mentally not there because I hit my head really hard and I ended up with a really bad concussion. We can actually talk about that. That could be another story time. Anyway, we'll do a story time about that because that was a ordeal.
That was a doozy. But anyway, so she rode with us, and it was like,
I was in the middle of the kids in the back. Like,
and it was just like,
their car seats were there, and I was sitting there like la 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 la, and she kept
so awkward.
And the kids were like kissing me and hugging me in the back, and she was like looking in the rearview mirror at me like the entire time.
Oh my gosh! And
she just looked kind of like sad.
And so we were just talking, and she said hi or whatever. So then we were just like chatting, and she was like, oh my god, I'm so glad they're okay. Like we were preoccupied, right? So then we like get out and we get to the nearest gas station, and then we realize that like it's gonna take a while to get all of our statements, and we're all just like sitting there chilling out.
It's so awkward.
So awkward. So like
I bought the kids ice cream,
and
I was like, do you want ice cream?
And she was just like, no, and then
I bought myself one. I was like, whatever girl, it's hot and I want ice cream.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like out of malice. I think she just like, we all just didn't really know what to do. Like it was just really weird.
Yeah, so we ended up taking each other, like taking the statements and like doing all of that, and then we were like trying to figure out like how to get a rental car and all that, because like obviously my car was like written off, so we were like, oh shoot.
We're like, this could not be a worse time. It could not be worse, really, like trying to figure it out.
So then we finished taking the statements down and everything like that, and like we realized, oh my god, because while we're taking the statements, we were like sitting with the cops, and she was like off to the side, like she wasn't even near us because she was just sitting with the kids. We had to sit with the cop because the cop was trying to get both of our statements and stuff, right? And we were with the other person too. And then we realized, oh my dear god, we are going to be stuck in a car with her for the next 30 minutes because we made it like pretty far and before we got into the accident. So to get back to our town was like 30 minutes. And we were like, oh my god, like what are we gonna talk about in this car? So we get into the car, and I just remember, I don't know if you remember this because you probably blocked it out, we get into the car, and it was like the first time that, like, because now, like, there's nothing else to, like, there's no way to avoid it. Like, you have to kind of introduce yourselves, because at first it was just kind of like, are they okay? Like, the first little ride to get to the gas station was just kind of like, we didn't even introduce, like, we didn't do any of that, right? So then now it's just like, she's just like in the mirror, like, looks into the mirror, and she's just like, hello. Like, it was.
She did that? I don't even remember that.
You blocked it out.
I probably was like,
trying to block it.
Because I feel like, okay, so like naturally, so her personality is very like big boss on campus, like big bad bitch energy. Like she's like really like aggressive and like just like a very like domineering personality kind of a person, and she's like big and she's like so tall and just like she's just like that's like her personality, and I'm like the complete opposite of that. So I'm like very like meek and mild about a lot of things, and like I'm not meek, like I just think I'm very submissive as a person, and I'm just like I'm loud when in terms of talking and stuff, but I'm not loud in terms of like my personality. Like so there was like she was like hello, and I was like hi. I was like when I tell you, like when I walked into that car, my hands were shaking. I was literally sitting there like because I just like didn't know what to expect, and I was like so afraid that she was gonna be so angry about like the kids liking me, because I think up until that point she didn't really know how deep things were, I think, with the kids, and I think it kind of solidified it a little bit for her, like when she saw them interacting with me, and that was hard for her.
That's a tough pill to swallow, like. It's
hard, and you've said it's gonna be hard for you, like one day when she finds somebody, it's gonna be really hard for you too, just to like watch the kids love somebody else the same way they kind of love you. Like for her, she loves seeing them love me like that, but like for like her ex, it's different, right? And she doesn't know like how I am with them really, like they don't really talk about that a lot. We don't have much of a relationship now. Like some people that co-parent, they do, we just don't. But either way, it was I think it was weird for but I think it was weird for her to see.
But I will say this, like
she was not rude.
By no means was she rude. She was actually very
like cordial,
accommodating and like cordial. She came right away. She didn't care. She had no problems. Offered to give us a ride back. Offered to give us a ride to a rental car place. Like was very helpful. Like helpful. So like I don't want you guys to think that we're like doing her dirty, like
we aren't
trying to say
this is just like the true, like the honesty of the situation. It was just like weird for everybody.
Should have known with the way that we were thrown into meeting each other's families and stuff.
Yeah, that it was
we should have known that the juju was just out there for us, and it was just gonna happen like that.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you guys have seen the meeting the parents video. Maybe I'll link it down in the description. But honestly, everybody that's important in both of our lives, we kind of just like stumbled into like meeting each other.
Yep, we did.
So we should have known that that was what was gonna happen.
Yeah. So like all in all, it wasn't bad or anything. I think it was just like the fact that like it was off the heels of a really like traumatizing situation.
Oh my god.
And off the heels of like the fact that we had never seen each other. So it went from like literally knowing nothing, not even knowing what I looked like, anything. She didn't even know she doesn't know my last name. Like even now, like we really don't know much about each other.
Now she will like ask how you are and talk and be like say stuff like, oh, how's Jess? And she had previously mentioned she got a really bad concussion.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably do a video on, but it was to the point where they were thinking it might have been like a brain bleed type of thing. And so my ex knew about that, and like every time we would like drop off the kids or interchange the kids or anything like that, like she would always be asking like, how's Jess? What's going on? Like that kind of thing. So there is that barrier. That initial barrier has definitely been broken, and I think that now it's just kind of like whatever.
There's been a lot of time now that's gone by, so it's kind of like a lot more accepted, I think, now. Like I think that she just accepts it.
And she knows it. And she'll always say like, oh yeah, like Jess is your person and stuff like that.
She says that?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know that.
She says it all the time.
Oh.
She'll be like, yeah, like I know that Jess is your person and blah blah blah. Like she'll say stuff like that all the time. Yeah.
Oh.
Guess you learned something new from filming, don't you?
Yeah, I guess. All the little tidbits. But anyway, yeah. So that was how I first met her ex. It was a crazy situation, and
it was car crash.
That was the last time I seen her.
It was car crash that led to introduction.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to throw yourself into it, you know?
Literally throw yourselves into the fire.
Yeah. Crash and burn.
There's too many of these. There's just too many buttons.
Anyway, I guess we should end the video off there because we don't want this to go too long. We've been trying to cut our videos down. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we're dropping new bangers. And also, please hit up our Instagram. We will leave it in the link in the description. And sign up for our 5K giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing too much, bro. Alright guys, and on that note, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.